AIG is going back to the well, everybody. The insurer rescued by taxpayers has drawn another $2.2 billion from the Treasury Department. For more on this Bloomberg exclusive, we're joined by Dan Kraut, head of the insurance team here at Bloomberg. Dan, we often see Hugh Son sitting in the seat, but you're the man who takes Hugh's convoluted copy and turns it into plain English. It's great to have you here. Let's talk about this AIG story. We have seen over the past few weeks AIG selling its non-U.S. life insurance units for billions of dollars, money that's supposed to go back to the taxpayer. Why is AIG borrowing another $2.2 billion now? It doesn't make sense.
Well, these are the units that are going to be the core of the new scaled-back AIG. They sell property coverage, and the exposure is a little different. You might need money in a hurry. A hurricane strikes, an earthquake, something like that. In normal circumstances, an insurer would hold corporate debt, Treasury securities, something pretty liquid that you could use to pay claims. What these companies did over the years is they invested in other AIG units, which is highly illiquid. So rating agencies and state regulators want to make sure they have the liquidity that an ordinary insurer would, and because of that, they've drawn the additional Treasury funds.
You know, liquidity is a very relevant term. We've been talking about liquidity in the context of Lehman Brothers in the days before its bankruptcy. Clearly, AIG is a completely different situation. It's supported by the taxpayers, but the rating agencies still want to see cash. Is that correct? Even though the government is standing behind AIG, they want to make sure that AIG can honor its obligations if, as you say, the situation would arise.
Cash or something very close to it, absolutely.
Now, how did these investments in other units work? I mean, how convoluted is the corporate structure at AIG still to this day?
It's still convoluted. It was built over dozens and dozens of acquisitions over the years, and in sometimes unrelated businesses, consumer lending, airline leasing. Very hard to regulate and very hard to dismember.
Now, let's talk a bit about the prospects for repayment. AIG is raising money through these asset sales to repay mostly the New York Fed, from what we understand. Right. How long is it going to take, and what's going to be required for AIG to get the $2.2 billion back to the Treasury Department it has just withdrawn?
It depends on the profitability of the units, which there's a couple variables there. One is the assets they hold. A second is, and I can't predict this any better than anyone else, is the weather.
Right.
That can drop a real big bill on you in a hurry, or if it's a calm season, you can keep an awful lot of the premium dollars you collect.
People see AIG withdrawing $2.2 billion, and they wonder, what on earth is this new guy, Bob Ben-Moshe, doing? From what we understand, the people we talk to, this loan and what it's going to do for AIG, part of the right strategy?
It should help. They need these businesses to operate at full strength because the businesses they've been able to sell, for the most part, have been their most profitable, their most desirable things. A lot of what's left are sort of the problem childs. This is a business that over the years has been stable, has been a strong international business, and should be the core of the new AIG. So if this generates the funds, then they can hopefully pay back.
AIG, and by extension the taxpayers, sure do not need another problem child. But it is possible that AIG could still go either to the Treasury or perhaps the Fed for more money, correct? There's a credit line with more cash available at the Fed.
Yes, they've got about $25 billion left on the Treasury facility. The credit line has more onerous terms. That expires in 2013, and they haven't been paying interest on the Treasury draw. I'm guessing about $15 billion left on the Fed line.
All right. Dan, thank you so much for joining us. Dan Kraut, Bloomberg editor who oversees our AIG coverage.